We're talking.
I want to go to Michael O'Leary. I want to go to Michael O'Leary as a businessman and all this. You create jobs. I've heard you say many times before that governments don't create jobs. So how can this treaty in any way help the economy?
Look, I think there's two key features of what we're voting on in 2 weeks' time that would be good for the economy and good for jobs. One, we keep a commissioner. The influence at European level is at the Commission. We keep a commissioner. That to me is a significant change. Two, we have a legally binding guarantee that Ireland retains a veto over direct taxation. So if you're worried about personal tax, income tax, corporation tax, and that's what drives foreign investment in this country, the only way to protect that veto is to vote yes in 2 weeks' time. We employ about 1,000 people in this country. I'm sitting here on a panel with the respect to various ministers. I don't know how many people anybody else on this panel actually employs in this country. Are we more likely to create more jobs in Ireland if we vote yes in 2 weeks' time? Yes. Are we more likely to create less jobs in Ireland and more jobs elsewhere in Europe if we vote no in 2 weeks' time? The answer is yes. So if you want you want job creation, there's nothing in the treaty that says this will create jobs. But if you think voting no and alienating Europe, and Europe has a long memory, bear in mind I've been fighting with them for most of the last 20 years, you better not bloody vote no in 2 weeks' time, vote yes.
Joe Higgins, do you care about American and other multinational investment coming to Ireland?
What's that got to do with the...
No, it has a lot to do with it. Do you care about it coming, or do you feel, would you put your principles above the practicalities of trying to attract foreign investment to create jobs in Ireland?
The fact is, there is an over-reliance on foreign investment by Irish governments, and we've seen one of the fruits of that, for example, in the scandalous axing of SR Technics to 1,200 totally sustainable jobs. The point is, this is a fear campaign to frighten the Irish people. It is not sustainable, in fact. Mr. O'Leary is in favour of this treaty because it's good for the boardrooms of big business and doesn't advance in any way the rights of workers, which he is absolutely opposed to such rights. But it is incredible, I have to say, that Fianna Fáil has the brass neck to put posters up on poles around this country saying, vote yes for jobs. This party, whose policies for 10 years in catering to the greed of the speculators and the bankers, has crashed this economy almost beyond redemption, has seen 137,000 people lose their jobs in 12 months, and they have the audacity now to come along and tell us, vote yes, vote for jobs. They haven't a shred of credibility. And there are 21 million people, unfortunately, unemployed throughout the European Union, with other economies like the Baltic states, which are in shreds also as a result of the type of neoliberal policies being pushed at the centre of the European Union. So to think that in any way a vote, yes or no actually, is going to transform the situation for jobs is utterly false.
Okay, Micheal Martin, how can the government credibly talk about job creation?
Because the bottom line is we're talking about the impact of the European Union on the Irish economy over many years and into the future. And the facts are we're dealing with a global economic crisis that is the worst since 1929. And it's not just in Ireland, it's across Europe, and it's beyond Europe, for that matter, with record levels of unemployment in the United States as well. But the risk, if we really want to be honest about it, there is no risk to jobs in voting yes. There is a risk to employment, jobs and investment potential if you vote no. That is the bottom line. But I would equally say to you, you look at the European Central Bank, the whole premise of the no side has been to create the big bad Europe that's out to get us. Now the European Central Bank have lent anything up to 120 billion to underpin our financial and banking system. For God's sake, are you seriously saying that there's people out there to get us? They're not out to get us. They're interested in helping Ireland. We're part of a European community. You take the common agricultural policy. That's about jobs. You take energy security. I mean, go beyond this crisis, and we will get beyond this crisis, by the way. What is the big ticket issue facing the world?
Reason
you have energy and energy supply. Ireland on its own cannot sort out its energy problems.
I want to bring in
it needs the European Union working with it.
We have plenty of time. I have questions from the audience which relate to this. Brendan Henry in the audience has a question for us.
Yes, I'd like to know what the members of the panel think the consequences might be if a no vote is returned.
Okay, well, let me go to you, Declan Ganley, on that first.
The consequences.
Do you have any worries, any fears that there could be serious adverse consequences for us out of a no vote?
There's no way to do it. Charlie McCreevy said, our commissioner, who's a yes man, said there can't be adverse consequences. Mick, the great news is that we don't need to have this piece of junk treaty to be able to keep our commissioner. The Swedish presidency has effectively said that they'll be pushing the 26+1 arrangement. That's what everybody wants. It means we keep our commissioner anyway. We don't need this treaty to be able to keep our commissioner. And the fact is that there is nothing in here that can happen that is negative to us. There are lots of other member states across Europe who are watching this with great interest. There will be a referendum in Britain. If we vote no, there'll be people in the 6 counties of Northern Ireland will also get a vote on this.
I asked you about consequences for us. Are you not fearful of loss of investment? What about the possibility that it will cost us more to service the national debt? The 400 million euro we're borrowing every week could become more expensive.
Our bond spreads did not increase after our no vote. In fact, foreign direct investment has gone up since our no vote last time. Exports increased in the first 6-month period of this year. So none of these scare stories have any basis in fact. Now, if our bond spreads do continue to go up, it will not have anything to do with the Lisbon Treaty, and it will have everything to do with the management of this economy by this incompetent
Marian Harkin, what about the consequences of a no vote? Are there any real serious consequences? Because Declan Ganley says they can't do anything to us. They can't throw us out of the European Union.
No, they can't throw us out of the European Union, but I think it will rock confidence in the European Union. And remember, if we say no, we're saying no to 26 member states who have already ratified the Lisbon Treaty. We're saying no to all of those people who have already voted yes.
And so what?
But we are saying no, and that has consequences. Every action has a consequence. Well, I think one of the consequences will be the following, and Declan has already alluded to it. I reckon if the Tories get into power in the UK, there will be a referendum, and we will become semi-detached along with the UK from Europe. We'll be an island behind an island off the coast of Europe, once again relying on the UK. I thought we had got over that. I believe we only got our independence when we joined the European Union. I, for one, do not want to go back there. I know UKIP want us to go back there, but I don't want to be there, and I think that's one of the possible consequences of voting no.
Micheal Martin, you've already outlined how the European Central Bank has come to our aid during the banking crisis. It did that despite the fact that we voted no a year ago, so why would it not come to our help again? Why would the rest of Europe not come to our help if we were to vote no a second time?
Well, the bottom line is here is we can say all we like here, but it seems to me, I can just give you, from my experience of being at European Council of Ministers meeting, my sense of it is this. You're correct, we're legal members of the European Union, and no one can throw us out afterwards. But it's more than just being legal members of the European Union. It's about being at the heart and at the centre of the European Union, trying to shape its policies, trying to influence its policies, winning alliances, winning friends to move people in certain directions. In my view, our negotiating strength will be undermined in terms of the negotiation, for example, of the common agricultural policy, in terms of negotiation of the new financial perspectives, of regional policy, which has meant an awful lot to Ireland in terms of regional funds and so on like that. So in my view, over time, our negotiating position will be undermined, and I think our strength in negotiating issues will over time lessen. But above all, I think it's more, I accept, it's not specifically in the treaty, but we do know that in terms of the goods and services you want to sell into other markets, goodwill and sentiment do matter, and signals matter in terms of international
Patricia McKenna, do you have any fears of adverse consequences from a no vote?
I think that a no vote will give us a really positive opportunity. There are people right across Europe
positive opportunities.
Well, I'm just going to come to that, positive opportunities. Workers' rights groups right across Europe, including many trade unions, want to guarantee that the whole issue of wages, protecting wages, is guaranteed. That is not guaranteed at the moment. That allows for the opportunity of looking at where Europe is going. This isn't just about Europe at the moment. This is about where Europe goes right into the future. And as Declan Ganley quite rightly pointed out, it's actually out of date, the Lisbon Treaty. It was drafted at a time by, whether you like it or not, European elite who did not allow the citizens of Europe in. And Marian says that we're saying no to 26 member states. The only thing we're saying no to is the political leaders in 26 member states who will not let their people vote on it. And we're told, oh, well, it's none of our business. Of course, as a citizen of Ireland and as a true European, I believe that we can't move forward in Europe without a democratic foundation. And without a democratic foundation, Europe is doomed at some stage, because you cannot build a Europe where you deny the people the right to vote, and where your leaders openly admit we're not letting them vote because they won't agree with what we want to do.
We have lots more questions, we have lots more to debate, but we need to take a short break.